Eric Bolling and Brett Favre on everything from politics and sports to business and culture.
This year has been insane.
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
That man right there, number 4, Brett Favre.
First NFL completion, and it's to himself.
It's big time and prime time.
That's why Brett Favre is Brett Favre.
Yep. Now it's Bolling with Favre.
All right, we got a huge guest, a highly anticipated guest, country music star, but also American Idol judge, just a massive, massive personality, celebrity. Luke Bryan joining us, and here he comes. Luke and Brett, we're gonna have some fun. Hey, Luke, it's Bolling. Can you hear us? And Brett.
Hang on, his system's
frozen. There he is.
There he goes.
All right, boys, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Luke? Eric Bolling here. As you know,
Georgia internet is struggling, huh?
Buddy, man, so I'm south of town in Nashville, and we're out on a farm, but my internet, we have, and I don't want to throw certain internet providers under the bus, but man, I guess where I live in the country, they can't make it happen no matter what. So, y'all let me know if it gets dicey, and then I can call in on my phone and we'll just do this over the phone.
It looks good, Luke, right now.
Yeah, right now it's good.
And maybe
how you doing, bud?
What's that?
I said, how you doing?
I'm good. Obviously had COVID. I'm sorry we had to put this off, but the day we were supposed to do the original podcast was probably it was probably my worst day of symptoms that I had. But once, 2 or 3 days of feeling like crap, then I pulled, then I started feeling a lot better. But
I was the same way.
When did you get it?
December.
Yeah, my wife got it at around New Year's, and then she had to she quarantined like the first half of January, and I was with her every day and never got it. Just a weird deal. Did your whole family get it from you, or?
It's weird because I was deer hunting in Kansas. Me and my brother and a good buddy. We saw no humans, so maybe a deer gave it to me. But I came home. I felt like I had a sinus infection. There was a lot of stuff blowing around in the air in Kansas, and I thought ragweed or something. I'm allergic to certain pollen, so I didn't feel terribly bad. And I said, let me just get tested just to be safe. And the doctor said, based on your symptoms and how you told me, you may have contracted something, which is baffling because it was me and my brother and my buddy, and they didn't get it. I don't know where I got it, but I tested positive. He said, man, I'm shocked you tested positive.
Yeah, same thing with me. I had May 1st, I had to do a 100-mile bike ride on the Natchez Trace in Jackson, Mississippi. So I was training to do this 100-mile bike ride. And, it's mid-April. Things are in bloom. I'm riding 50 miles outside, and every spring, I get a sinus infection every spring. And then I was riding in LA, and I went and did a big ride up in LA. And my first symptom was in LA, and I just had a little totally seasonal allergies. Didn't have a fever, still have my taste and smell. And then I get back home to Nashville, and I got a doctor buddy of mine, and he's like, man, you probably ought to get tested. And I'm like, dude, I don't have COVID. I've got my normal bronchitis from breathing in, and damn, that same thing. When the girl told me I had it, I was like, and 2 days before that, I had tested negative on 2 separate tests. It showed up on me in 12 hours. It showed up. So,
yeah,
Luke, we had Nugent on a couple of weeks ago. And
he ate a little crow, didn't he?
He had spent the prior couple of weeks saying it was a hoax. The hoax bit him in the ass pretty hard. I think he was a little shocked at how devastating it was.
I'd like to know if it sidelined him or is he still wide open. He was nonstop on the show. I think I said 3 words.
Oh God, I think that's his daily regimen, just to wake up and give it hell.
Full throttle, full throttle. So, well, let's just keep going with this, guys. This is great. Luke, if you don't mind, if I could just ask you a couple quick questions about, let's do the Idol stuff first. We'll get to your new album and stuff. But Idol, man, you're a rock star, you're a superstar in country, and now all of a sudden, now you're a TV star. How's the transition treating you?
Man, when Idol, this is our first season of this is our 4th season of American Idol. So you got to figure 5 years ago, we started, the people with Idol and ABC started kind of courting me. They started reaching out to me and wanting to know my interest level with being a judge on American Idol. And I knew that ABC was picking it up. And, but at the time, I'm playing stadium shows and I'm selling out back-to-back amphitheaters. And I'm making as much money as I could have ever dreamed of on tour. Mm-hmm. And I'm totally focused on who I am as a country music singer. And so I had a lot of anxiety because once I took on the Idol role, once I took Idol, that's 70 other days a year mm-hmm. that I'm not focused on music. So, I remember there were nights that literally I could have flipped a coin and said, you know what, I'm enjoying where I'm at in music. And I've just figured out how to be a country music singer. And so I had some days where I was going to say yes or no. And then, I'd even called Keith Urban and talked to Keith, and Keith was like, man, you need to do it. You need to do it. Mm-hmm. And that was a big thing. And I had talked to Blake Shelton. He goes, you need to do it. You need to do it. And then, talked with my family, ran it by my wife. We obviously understood, the other tolls that taking on a new endeavor. And man, I look back now and, I thank my lucky stars that I decided to do it. When you look at certainly, the touring industry and the touring world and the whole world got shut down, but I was still able to have, a pretty, an amazing gig in entertainment. And I was able to still, make some money through the year and do the show. It was just a complete blessing. And through all that, we look at, year 4 and man, we just feel like we're clicking on all cylinders this year. We feel like it's certainly been our best season, our most talented season. And, you look at me and Lionel and Katy, and we're having a blast. And it's now we're in talks of, we're starting to talk out season 5. And man, it's been a real educational, eye-opening experience. And man, I just thank God every day I said yes to it. It's been an amazing ride.
Yeah, it's been from the outside looking in, it's got to be hard to find the chemistry with the judges, much like a football team.
Right. Oh, totally.
You think, man, this guy or this girl is going to be perfect. She's going to fit right in, and then it's chaos. But like I've told you, Luke, after we watch a show or something, I'll send Luke a message and say, man, awesome. You guys, and I love Lionel. I grew up on Lionel Ritchie.
Totally.
But you got, it's like great gumbo. It's the right ingredients, man. I'm telling you, the judges play such a major role in the entertainment, either positively or negatively. And
well, it's like I'm sure when you walked into Green Bay for the first time and you heard the players that brought the team together and changed the organization, and you heard the horror stories of one player disrupting the whole locker room. With the beauty of me and Lionel and Katy is, man, there's really no egos there. There's no egos about what can American Idol do for Katy Perry or Luke Bryan or Lionel Ritchie. It's about what can we do for these kids that are standing in front of us. And it's been that way since day one. It's been that way since day one with us. And let me tell you, I mean, walking in, we heard and not to throw past judges under the bus, but you know, when you've got all those dynamics of people not showing up on time and hanging up the whole production cycle and coming in 2-3 hours late, well, then the show shifts. The show quits being about cutting the cameras on and making a beautiful show. It becomes about the stress, you know, the stress on the other side. Well, man, I mean, I can honestly say, I mean, working with Lionel and Katy and even Ryan, you know, Ryan's been doing this for 19 years. And he tells us every day he's having more fun than ever. And there ain't nothing in entertainment Ryan Seacrest has not been a part or witnessed. Right. So that's an important aspect. It allows the producers to go be producers and go find talent. They know that, you know, so it's a pretty amazing dynamic that we have. And it's totally that way. It's no different than a football team that's just clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah. Yeah. I think back when you mentioned Green Bay, I think back to my first team meeting. I was 20, just turned 22, and Mike Holmgren is our head coach, and we're all in the team meeting room to start training camp. And Mike Holmgren says, and I'd met him and been around him a little bit from many camps, but not a great deal. And honestly, at 22, I didn't know a good team from a bad team. I thought I did, but I really didn't know a great player from an average player. I mean, you just kind of base it off what your past experiences were. And I was in Atlanta for a year, and that doesn't count. So Holmgren says to the team, half of you SOBs ain't worth a damn. And I'd get rid of you today, but I wouldn't have enough to play our first game. But mark my word, unless you change my mind, and we ain't even practiced yet. He said, mark my word, you will be gone soon as I can, unless you show me something different. And I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
But fortunately, I made the cut.
So Luke, can I ask you? Well, Brett, I'm sure you can speak to this, but as a GM or a head coach, you always want to recruit the best players. You want quality candidates, people that will stick with you. And it sure would be easier if you had a hiring partner who helped make your life easier. If you're a business owner now, you understand that feeling, and you do Indeed. Indeed is the job site that makes hiring as easy as 1, 2, 3. Post, screen, and interview all on Indeed. Get your quality short list of candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description faster. Only pay for the candidates that meet must-have qualifications, and schedule and complete video interviews in your Indeed dashboard. Indeed makes connecting with and hiring the right talent fast and easy. Plus, there are tools like Instant Match, which gives you quality candidates that fit your job description immediately. According to Talent Nest, Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined. That's an MVP caliber number. So basically, if you're hiring, you need Indeed. Get started right now with a free $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/bowling. Get $75 credit at Indeed.com/bowling. Indeed.com/bowling. Offers valid through June 30th. Terms and conditions apply. You know, you said you guys get along. I'll preface this with, in 2011, I was asked to be on a panel show. There were 5 of us on a show, and we're all trying to, you know, be the star. It was a little bit of what you guys do. At certain point, a couple years into it, we just kind of fell into our roles. We became a family, right? But the beginning was bumpy roads, because we were trying to figure out who's going to break out, who wasn't going to break out. Is there a point where you felt like you guys just clicked, and it wasn't competition between judges anymore? Or was that day one?
Well, you know, day one, we never really, day one, we never really sensed any of that. I mean, when you look at Lionel, and no one potentially in the history of music, you know, I mean, he's up there with Prince and Michael Jackson and Elvis of accolades. So you just can't even, you can't even expect to touch his legacy. And then you put on top of that, he's just an amazing human being. I mean, so Lionel's got his lane. I mean, you look at Katy Perry. I mean, she is a global, worldwide superstar. I mean, she can go to Rio de Janeiro and sell out a soccer stadium, and then she can fly to Japan and do that. And, and then you got me where, I mean, I've got my lane too, and I look at, and when I got around Katy Perry and got to know her and understand that her troubles and her worries are they come from a totally different, it's just it's not even, you can't even put what she has to deal with from, it's just amazing to learn the challenges that on a global scale. And like I said, Lionel's done lived it all 3 times. So he's just there to have fun, and
he's just riding the wave.
He's just there to have fun and share his knowledge. And like there was things like Katy Perry. I mean, she didn't know, and she knew I was a big country singer, but I would come on set, and then Katy would read a headline and she's like, where were you last night? And I said, well, I was at Gillette Stadium. She goes, well, what were you doing at Gillette Stadium? I said, well, Katy, I sold it out 2 nights in a row. And she was like, and then, once she started understanding that, that country music artists really do that, then she started going, well, this guy he has some of he gets it. And, and that was in year 1. We didn't know each other coming in. I knew Lionel a little bit, but now when we look into this year, I mean, through the years, every year Katy can walk around the corner, and I can, she had been out doing shows. I could tell did she get a good night's sleep last night, and vice versa. She could look at me and go, well, Luke's off his game today. I'll pick up the slack.
Yeah.
And Lionel, Lionel is a night owl. So if we had a 5:30 a.m. we kind of know that we got to leave Lionel alone till he gets his coffee. So once you start knowing how everybody can pull each other through, and then, I mean, it was really amazing watching Katy this year. Katy was a brand new mother.
Yeah.
I mean, poor thing she would come in and I mean, you could tell she had not slept in 3 nights, and she'd give us kind of the wink, like, help me out, guys. And then, about 3 or 4 hours, she'd have to go, she had to go, she had breast milk, she had to go pump. So we were like letting Kate, I mean, so, we're all in there together, and, going through COVID last year and all those challenges of redoing the show virtually. And then, even this year we've had to, I mean, everybody out there has had to kind of reinvent how to do their jobs and their entertainment. And like I said, we're getting, tested every day and all this stuff. And so you just have to look back and go, I'm thankful I'm here. I'm thankful I'm healthy. I'm thankful I've got a successful TV show with Idol. And you know what? Shove Q-tips up my nose and tell me I'm negative, and let's go make a TV show.
Well, in regards to you and Lionel, I think one of the most entertaining things I saw on TV was when you guys did the tribute. I think it was Country Music Awards. I can't remember the show, but it was a tribute to Lionel, and you sang one of his songs, and you may have even been hosting. I can't remember. It's been probably 5-6 years ago.
It may have been the Kennedy Center Honors, or
could have been.
It was a thing on CMT. Lionel and I, it was either a CMT like Crossroads, or it was Kennedy Center Honors. So
it was a big deal, and I thought you guys did a wonderful job of honoring Lionel, because I'm like you. You throw a Lionel song on, I can sing it word for word. Terrible, but I can sing it word for word.
Same here. I mean,
but you that showed in that performance. And you could just see Lionel, glowing.
Well, and before I lose the train of thought, like having you tell me and text me, enjoyed the show tonight, man, to have fellow celebrities that have busy lives that could be doing a lot of other things, knowing that they're watching the show, man, is really something that, it's just an amazing thing knowing that, like I said, I think the first time you and I met when we were out in Steamboat, you said, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of the show." And I'm like, you almost like, really? No shit. and then, after you text me a couple times saying enjoy the show, I'm like, he
must watch it.
Yeah, he really is watching it. So, we deal with that with celebrities, and it's so fun. But yeah, and back to Lionel. I mean, Lionel is just he's just a genuine human being. He never has a bad day. He's always there to cheer you up. He's always there to listen. And he's just got the best heart. I mean, and it shows on TV, and it shows with his body of work through music. I mean, anytime you navigate an industry for 40 plus years, that means you've done a good job at not burning bridges. You've built bridges,
Yeah. And he, from the outside looking in, and I think you've answered this question, being a Lionel fan, going back to Commodores, you hope, if you ever met someone that is like your idol, you look up to, you hope that they're like Lionel Ritchie is.
Totally.
Like, this guy has, you name it, he's done it, and done it at the very top. But yet he's got time for everybody. And his body of work speaks for him. He doesn't have to speak himself.
Right. And he's an example. He's an example. You get a new kid that's a hothead and wants to start showing out and be like, hey, Lionel Ritchie don't do that, don't have to. So, you can, stuff like that lives on in infamy, and the what's funny is how positive Lionel is. The negative people in all forms of music, the people that have got a legacy of not being like Lionel, that lives on in infamy too. I'm sure those guys are in the football world too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Men's health doesn't get much attention, and that's partly our fault, guys. We don't like going to the doctor, and we definitely don't like talking about sensitive issues. But here's the thing. A lot of men's health issues have really simple answers. RexMD.com is here for that. RexMD makes getting prescription ED medications easy, all done online and from the comfort of your home, then delivered. No office visits, no talking to receptionists. Super, super simple. And right now, sample packs of ED medications are available for listeners of Bolling with Favre, our podcast, and we'll tell you how to get those in a second. So it's simpler than ever to get started. But here's how it works. You fill out a quick medical questionnaire on their website, and a doctor reviews your situation and prescribes you the ED medications you need, if appropriate. Then your medication is shipped right to your door with free 2-day shipping. Guys, half of all men experience ED after the age of 40. That stat may sound scary, but it's a fact. So let RexMD help. Guys are getting better performance quickly and conveniently with RexMD. It really is a game changer. It's never been easier to take control of your health. Those sample pack prescriptions I mentioned are available at rexmd.com/Favre. So go to rexmd.com/Favre, Favre, to get started with RexMD, rexmd.com/Favre. So can I just jump in and ask a quick question, Luke? Because I think a lot of people who are watching here would love to know. For country music has such a massive following. For a few years there, the Idol winners were all country stars because there was just when the votes were coming in, and you guys would just crush it. You were owning the American Idol. Has that changed? Has anything changed? Have they kind of regulated because you had such a massive following advantage? Have they regulated that behind the scenes?
Man, I wouldn't say, and if we've gotten away from country music winners, I don't think that's ever been a regulatory thing for American Idol. I mean, I think what we've witnessed is certain years have more country artists that show up. Mm-hmm. And there is certainly some of those years there's a big kind of country music demographic, a country music watching crowd out there that historically, like we've always heard that, man, the Midwest is really, really engaged in American Idol. And I think sometimes that will play into some of the voting. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Just a good old all-American, all shucks country boy or girl, I think that's always going to resonate with American Idol watchers. But then, you look, I mean, man, what's funny is you remember the country kids that did well, but then when you look at the body of 19 years, it's pretty diverse, which is pretty amazing. And even when you look at when you look at who has won or even who has prospered, I mean, it's a pretty amazingly diverse. And it really tells you a lot. I mean, it tells you a lot about where Americans' hearts truly lie. I mean, I think a lot of people out there voting, they don't go vote for. I mean, when I call my dad, he don't know any other music. I mean, I've had conversations with my dad where, there was someone on there cross-dressing that was singing in drag, and my dad was like, you know what, that they won the night, So I think at the end all, America really just votes with who they think is singing the best. I mean, now I can say that me and Lionel and Katy, when it starts getting into that top 24 mode, we don't want, you don't want, if you've got 4 country singers and you got 2 great ones and the other 2 are going to get eliminated by America, we'll start, we want to make sure that when we get into our final, when I think this year we had a top 20 and then we didn't vote, then we were done. Uh-huh. So we want to make sure we've got a lot of genres covered. We want to make sure we got a lot of characters, a lot of interesting people. Sometimes we catch, I mean, it's been amazing this year. Sometimes we catch a lot of, flack online because we may send somebody through that they may not think is as talented as another singer, but they're not getting the personality vibes. I mean, being a star isn't all about, I mean, if you
great singer, it's not about being a great singer. You're right.
It's not. I mean, and it's, it's about that person having some magic to them. I mean, and we had a couple of kids this year that technically were not great singers, but man, personality wise, they were just interesting. And you know what? Katy would pull for them. I would pull for them for my favorites based on, they were 6 or 7 out of 10 singer, but they were a 9 personality. But once they get to America, man, they get them out of there. If they're, America, they get them out of there if they're not clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, I think that you make a great point. I think people do lose sight of. I think of one in particular who is a friend and also went to Southern Miss, so I've got a vested interest. Jimmy Buffett.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he certainly can sing a lot better than me, but his deal is not so much about singing, but capturing the audience and marketing himself. And there's no one who's done it as great as him. And still, he's probably as popular today as he's ever been.
Yeah, number one creator of a vibe.
Exactly.
I mean, no one created a vibe better than Jimmy Buffett. And, you know, he did it with a pretty laid back, simple voice.
Yeah.
But he did it, you know, he did it with a style of music that he found his niche.
And
he recognized it.
He made it okay to day drink. He made it it's acceptable practice and go for it. Listen to some Buffett.
I remember being a kid. You know, I was probably 8 or 9, and you know, my parents, you know, they'd have a Saturday night supper club at the pool. You know, they'd have, you know, 10 couples over and everybody's drinking beer and stuff. And I remember somebody put "Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw" on our sound system at the house. And I mean, I saw all of these people in my hometown that I've never seen kind of cut loose, you know. They're out there drinking and partying and singing "Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw." And I'm like, and that was the first time I was like, I mean, you know, and that was, you know, kind of left a lasting impression in my brain. But you know, that's what Jimmy Buffett's all about. He's about, I mean, you know, when you roll up to a Jimmy Buffett concert, I mean, everybody's the one thing is there to get some margaritas, to put some parrot headgear on, and to probably not remember the back 3/4 of the show.
one of the things we've done with every star that comes on is we've asked Brett, and you know, he's the one who has all these intros. How'd you guys meet, Brett? How'd you meet?
Well, and Luke knows this. So I'm in Fairhope, Alabama, probably 8 years ago. Maybe even longer. Our youngest daughter was playing a travel volleyball tournament. We were staying at the Grand Hotel in Fairhope, Alabama, and I get on the elevator by myself, and this guy gets on behind me, and it's just us two. And he says, "Hey, are you Brett?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "Hey, I'm Luke Bryan's dad." He said, "You here for the pecan convention?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm not. I'm here for my daughter. She's playing a travel volleyball tournament." We chatted a little bit, and I told him I was a fan of Luke's, and it was a funny little exchange. So that was the first, even though I didn't meet Luke then, I met his dad. Nice guy. So couple of years ago, 2 or 3, maybe 2 years ago, we're in Steamboat.
Yeah.
And we've been to Steamboat several times skiing. I'm a terrible skier. But we always rent from the same guy. We kind of got a chef that cooks for us, Damon, who happens to be from Mississippi. So first night, Damon's cooking for us, and we were about 3 houses down from the first house we ever stayed in, right on the ski hill. And I said, "Who's staying in the big house this week?" Damon says, "Well, I can't really say anything." "Well, hell, you can tell me. I don't care." And he said, "You probably know him, Luke Bryan." I said, "Actually, I'm a fan, but I don't know him." And I told him the story about meeting his dad. And I said, "Well, if you're over there before we leave, we probably got there a few days before Luke was leaving." I said, "Just tell Luke we're in town, and I'll drop in and say hello, or vice versa." And so the last day, Luke actually walks down to the house, comes in, and we're all eating breakfast, my daughter and 3 or 4 of her friends. And he comes in, just chats. And I don't even know if they noticed that Luke was there at first. It was so nonchalant. And we just had a good little conversation, shot the bull. And he said, "All right, I'm flying out. Good to see you all. You'll have a good time." And that was it.
Yeah.
You know, both Brett and I spend a lot of time outdoors, biking, hunting, you name it, but Mother Nature doesn't always play nice. So you better be ready for whatever the world throws at you with a face shield from SA Company. SA Company has all the protective gear you need to brave the elements and explore more every day. We really love their face shields. They're SPF 30, lightweight and breathable, the perfect piece of protective gear for your next adventure. Like when Brett's up in a bluff or I'm working out in the backyard, they're just perfect for so many different things. Yeah, and I love those camo ones they got. Brett, you should try one of these. They're sharp, and whether you're working in the sun or cold or going hunting, hiking, fishing, skiing, riding, or biking, SA Company's face shields always have you covered. Plus, they've got dozens of eye-catching designs for men, women, and children, and they're one size fits all, machine washable, and get this, a lifetime warranty, zero risk. And we both love that SA believes in giving back to the men and women who put themselves in the front lines every day. Through their partnership with Operation Gratitude, they've donated well over 100,000 face shields to those on the front lines of the pandemic. For every order, SA donates one face shield to a first responder. Think about that. That really matters. So stay protected outdoors, folks, because right now you get an insane deal. Buy one, get four free. A $150 value for just $24.99. Just go to safishing.com/bowling to get 5 face shields for the price of one, plus a lifetime warranty and free returns if you're not completely satisfied. That's safishing.com/bowling, safishing.com/bowling.
But in that time, it's amazing when you, like I said, I grew up certainly watching, Brett my whole life. And then to have my dad, my dad totally sounds like an interaction he would have with somebody like Brett, and I can't believe, I'm talking about maybe the top 10 Atlanta Falcons fan on planet Earth. Nobody. So I can't believe he didn't give you a little grief for leaving the Falcons, but in the elevator. But yeah, I think what was really fun meeting Brett and Steamboat is just knowing, once you get two Southern boys together and they start talking about, deer hunting and duck hunting and stuff like that, then we start realizing that we got a lot in common and enjoy the same things and share the same passions. And so we, I left that going, man, me and him got to
hunt together.
Yeah. We got to hunt together,
I think every time I go hunt somewhere, in one place in particular, I think you've been to, Bill and Ryan Busbus have.
Oh yeah.
Awesome place.
So fun.
I'm like the last 3 years, every time I go, they're like, you just missed Luke. I'm like, the biggest question is, did he leave me the big deer?
Yeah, well, hey, I'm about 50-50 out there. So
Me too.
I'm sure they've got some war stories from me, but man, yeah, I love that place. And like I said, and man, when I started having boys, I know you've got some girls around your place, but man, when I started having boys and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to take these kids and get them in the woods. There's
nothing like it.
There's nothing like it. There's just nothing like sharing time in the outdoors. And it's funny, my nephew's turkey hunting right now. It's last week of turkey hunting in Tennessee, and the phone's been blowing up. So I think they went down there and I think they got him a turkey. So he's been blowing me up, and he's 19 years old and he's waking up every day going turkey hunting. And I just, your kids in the outdoors is just such an important, it's such an important part of growing up, in my opinion.
I agree.
Hey, Luke, you're in Nashville. I was in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. I stopped by Luke Bryan Cafe, I think it was, or patio. The place
32 Bridge, yeah.
So just a couple of minutes on your other ventures. I see you got a beer company and a hard cider company you're working too. And I saw one of the promos for it. It's just good stuff. It's like a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, I didn't even realize, but I'm like a car salesman here. I got my two lane. Started 2-lane with Constellation Beverage. Constellation, you don't really, you're common, I never really knew what they do, but then when you dive into what they are, they own Corona, Modelo, Pacifico. They own Mondavi, Kim Crawford. I mean, they own 80% of every wine that you drink in a restaurant. They own. I mean, they're just a ginormous company. And I met the owners of the company and all the high ups. And a couple years ago, you know, when you own Corona, Modelo, and Pacifico, you really don't have that classic American lager to compete with your Budweiser, Bud Light, Coors Light, all those. And somehow we started talking things out, and they decide to team up with this guy right here. And we built, we started our beer brand, and then we went over into hard seltzers too, because that's certainly hot as a firecracker right now. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, we launched it last spring, and literally, I mean, the worst timing to ever try to launch a beer brand. And and so it wasn't going well. We kept having to, we've got where we brew it in Daleville, Virginia, a brewery. And, the brewery was getting shut down and because it was, the whole world was shutting down. So we just backed up. Now we're doing a big release. And heck, I mean, when you're teamed up with a great group like Constellation, I mean, it feels really good. And the beer's great. I mean, my mother's been a beer drinker her whole life, and she finally signed off on.
I saw that in the promo.
Finally got her endorsement.
That's right. That's good.
That's saying a lot.
You ever show up at the Nashville bar and play?
Yeah, we've done some events down there. We actually hosted back when the NFL draft was in Nashville. Kirk Herbstreit called me up, and we did a charitable party, and so we've done a lot of stuff there. I mean, obviously COVID I've been down there a couple of times, but as the summer comes along, we'll always create a bunch of fun events, and it's always fun grabbing a guitar and doing like a surprise cameo and hopping on stage with the cover bands there, and that's been an amazing thing too. I mean,
and right across the street from Kid Rock's place,
I mean, if my bar is putting out about 100 decibels, Kid Rock's over there, they're putting out about
you can't hear yours.
Yeah, about 140 decibels. Sounds like a jet airplane taking off.
It's a great corner in Nashville if you want to go party. Anyone that's listening, that's a place to hang out.
Yeah. Well, look, man, we don't want to keep you. I know you're busy. Certainly appreciate you coming on, man.
In a couple months, let's do this again, and we'll talk some hunting and stuff. I know y'all had some other topics, but man, I get so long-winded.
No, you're great.
I'll get long-winded.
We'd love to have you on again.
Yeah,
especially,
Luke, just promote your new music. What's in you're releasing?
Yeah, we did a deluxe edition of Born Here, Live Here, Die Here that came out 1st of April. So yeah, we got that going on. My current single's called Waves, and it's doing great. And man, just getting ready to finish up the finale with American Idol. And my touring, we start the Proud to Be Right Here tour, which kicks off, I think, July 8th. Mm-hmm. And we've got all the dates up. And like I said, man, I'm so glad we finally got to do this, and certainly thankful for all your listeners out there. And Brett, we got to get together, do some duck hunting, do some kind of hunting.
I'll set us up a hunt this fall.
Let's do it.
I got a lot of free time. You don't. So
I know. I'm trying to. I keep telling myself I've got a little clock running. Couple years, I'm gonna hit that retirement button, and then
I'll shoot you a text with a couple of dates in a few places that we go.
Yeah, totally. And same here.
We'll have some fun.
I tell people I'm the best person in the world to get in a hunting lease with you, because I'll get in the lease with you and I'm too busy to ever show up.
Yeah, you may show up one time. Yeah. Well, hey, I'll set it up. You just make sure you be there.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, Big fans of obviously both of y'all, and thank y'all for your time. And let me know if y'all get to Nashville, and we'll try to hook up.
Sounds good, Luke.
Thank you very much, man. And we didn't get to some of the really cool stuff, some of the other stuff you do in your personal life, and we'll do that next time. You're just a great guy, just a great guy. And I'm blessed to be on a podcast with Luke Bryan and Brett Favre. How lucky am I?
Heck, me too.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good day.
All right, man. Take care.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank y'all.
So always great to have these guys on. Brett, we got to say thank you for getting that introduction to Luke Bryan. And everyone, remember, come and rate the show. Go to iTunes, rate the show, put a review up there, and you might win either a Brett Favre jersey or a Luke Bryan boxed album set autographed by Luke Bryan. Just make sure you got to write the review so we can read them and figure out which one's the best one. We figure out who the winner is. Great week, great chance to talk to Luke Bryan about all the cool things that are going on in his world, and see you all very soon.